Finally, you say no. You ask someone for space, or you tell them exactly what it is that you need. But instead of relief, guilt. Maybe I was a little too harsh. Maybe I was a little too selfish. Maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut. But guilt doesn't always mean you did something wrong. Sometimes it shows up when you stop playing the role that everybody expects you to play. Today, we're going to talk about why you feel guilty for having needs and what you can do about it. The emotional pattern that I'm describing has a name. It's called boundary guilt. This is the discomfort that shows up when having needs starts to feel like doing something wrong. Not because you actually did something wrong or that you hurt anybody, but because some part of you learned that having needs isn't safe. For a lot of people, needs were never treated like something normal. They were treated like a burden, a problem, a threat. So they learned to become quiet, available, low maintenance. They learned to read the room before they spoke. They learned to ask for less, so no one got upset. And now, the moment you say, I can't do that, your body reacts like you broke a rule that you learned way back then. This is why the guilt can feel so convincing. It doesn't always show up because the boundary was wrong, but it can show up because the old role you used to play got interrupted. Now, let's see how this looks in real life. Think about this. You just got home from work, tired, you haven't eaten. You finally have a night to yourself. Then your phone rings. Someone needs your help. A ride, a favor, something they put off until the very last minute. Normally, you would say yes, way before ever checking in with yourself because this is the role that you've normally played. You're calm, you're dependable, you're the one who always figures things out. But this time, you say no, not tonight. And immediately, your body reacts like you did something wrong. Your stomach drops. You start thinking, maybe I should go. Maybe they really need me. Why am I always so selfish? But the guilt is not proof that you made the wrong choice. It shows up because you stepped outside your normal role. For once, you didn't abandon yourself to keep everybody else comfortable. And that is where the guilt came from. Next, you're bringing something up in your relationship that's been bothering you for quite a while now. You do it carefully. You pick the right time. You lower your tone. And you try to make it sound like it's not an attack. All you say is, I need you to hear me without turning this into a fight. Then, their face shifts. Their tone changes. They get defensive. They go quiet. Then, they make you feel like you're the one that just started the fight. And then, before ever even finishing explaining yourself, you're backing away from your own needs. Maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe I should just let it go. But the guilt's not showing up because your need was wrong. It shows up because you're the one that always adjusts. But you're the one that makes it smaller, explains things better, takes it back so things can go back to normal. But you didn't create a problem. You just interrupted the pattern that causes you to have guilt. Now, how do we fix it? This doesn't get fixed by pretending you don't care. And it doesn't get fixed by becoming cold or detached. The goal here is not to stop caring about other people. The goal is to stop treating your own needs like they're a threat. So here are 3 steps to help you stop treating guilt like proof that you did something wrong. Step 1, separate guilt from wrongdoing. Ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Or did I just do something unfamiliar? Because those two can feel exactly the same inside your body. If you lied, manipulated, insulted, or put someone down, then guilt may be pushing you towards self-repair. This is useful guilt. Even though it doesn't feel good, it's pointing you towards something that you need to work on. But if all you did was say no, ask for space, tell the truth, or stop taking responsibility for something that was never yours to carry, then guilt may not be about wrongdoing. It may be about role breaking. Your body is reacting because you stepped outside the pattern that it's used to. So this week, when guilt shows up after setting a boundary, pause before you believe it. Then come back to this question. Did I do something wrong, or did I just do something unfamiliar? Step 2, let other people have their reaction. Someone being uncomfortable with your boundary doesn't mean that it was bad. A boundary just gives someone information. It doesn't guarantee they're going to like it. They may be disappointed. They may need time. They may react badly because they're not used to you having any boundaries at all. But their reaction is not your responsibility to fix. This is where people get pulled right back into those old roles. You say no, the other person gets upset, and suddenly you start managing the other person's feelings again. Explaining, apologizing, softening, taking it back. And now the boundary is gone before it ever had a chance to stand. So this week, when someone reacts to your boundary, let the reaction belong to them. You can care about how they feel without being responsible for how to fix it. Step 3, use a clean boundary instead of a defense. A lot of people don't just set a boundary, they build a whole defense around it. Before they even set a boundary, they explain every reason and try to make sure that the other person knows that they're not just trying to be mean. And by the time they're done explaining, the boundary doesn't even seem like a boundary anymore. A clean boundary is short, firm. I can't do that tonight. That does not work for me. I have other things I need to do. Thanks for asking, but unfortunately I'm not available to do that right now. Short doesn't mean cruel. Clear doesn't mean selfish. But it does mean you know how to set a firm boundary. So this week, when you set a boundary, say it once, make it firm. Then, let it stand without turning it into a courtroom defense. Today's one key takeaway is this: guilt is not always the problem. Sometimes it's proof that the old role is losing control. If you've spent years being quiet, available, low maintenance, then having needs is going to feel wrong at first. But that does not mean that your needs are wrong. It means your nervous system is learning a new pattern. If this video gave you language for something you've been feeling but never could explain, please drop a comment in the section below. Let me know. What needs or boundaries do you feel guilty for having? And if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos as they get released. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. You guys have a great day.